You are entering the championship rounds. Demertious Johnson proves he is as mighty as ever with his win at UFC 186. Other than the champion showing off his skills, there's not really much the pay-per-view had to offer. Should the UFC have offered it as a reduced price or even be offered it for free? Plus, we also ranked the current list of UFC champions top
to FRMMA Radio.
Hello there, welcome. My name is Alex Ramirez, alongside my co-hosts Guillermo Cita and Albert Cita. Gentlemen, how are you on this fine day?
I am doing well, nice and healthy. It was raining yesterday, so I thought I was feeling a little sick, but I'm all right.
You gotta just push through it, right?
Yeah, I actually checked out the museum yesterday, the LA one, next to the Science Center.
Okay.
You probably on the museum game better than I am, but
saw
some dinosaurs, pretty cool.
I didn't know we were mentioning what we were doing yesterday.
Yeah, what'd you do yesterday?
I was stuck in the rain coaching 2 scrimmages for my boys' U8 soccer team.
Yeah, you know what's funny? Not one of you guys mentioned that UFC 186 was happening yesterday.
Oh yeah, you know what? UFC was on.
The completely. Was it the card dismantled at first? Remember, it was supposed to be 2 title shots. Barao versus Dillashaw 2. Johnson versus Horiguchi. I think at one point wasn't Rory Mack and Hector Lombard on this card. And then now all we got was Michael Bisping and CB Dollaway and Johnson Horiguchi.
You take those 2 fights, Rampage and Maldonado, and then CB Dollaway and Michael Bisping. You switch those with Machida, Luke Rockhold, and Jacare versus a late replacement in Chris Camozzi. Yeah, and you would have had a better card or excitement.
Yeah. So let's but other than the pay-per-view, it's more the UFC business side. But the shining star of the night was Demertious Mighty Mouse Johnson, again, who proved to be probably the pound-for-pound best fighter in the division over, I think, the latest submission win in UFC history with 4 minutes, 59 seconds of the 5th round. Got an armbar tap out before Horiguchi. Guillermo, Mighty Mouse continues dominating again, right?
Yeah. So I think what else is left for this guy at what is it, flyweight?
Yeah.
So what's his next move, to be honest? Because he just cleared out how many times the division.
I know they keep bringing guys in, but
he said he has no problem facing TJ Dillashaw for that super fight.
Perfect.
But the problem is he wants to get paid, and to tell the truth, honestly, he deserves it. I mean, he's the only guy that's went out and said, you know what, I will face a champion in another weight class, guarantee. Yeah. Just pay me the money, and he deserves it. I mean, the guy has went on an impressive run. He literally eliminated his division. Like,
how many times do we have to see John Dodson versus Mighty Mouse?
It's like John Bone Jones can say all he wants, but technically there's still some contenders out there in the light heavyweight. But with the flyweights, he's done. Yeah, it's game, son.
The thing with John Jones is he's been pushed to the limit a couple times where people want to see a rematch.
Yeah, exactly.
But with Mighty Mouse Johnson, there's been no need for any rematch at all because he's been dominant every single round.
His competition, Dennis Bermudez, he knocked out.
No, Joseph Benavidez.
Joseph Benavidez, sorry.
Yeah.
Dennis Bermudez.
Yeah, right. So, is he the pound for pound best on the planet right now? Pound for pound.
Pound for pound. Probably.
Yeah.
If you were to be in like TJ Dillashaw in a like super champion, I would guarantee
solidify it.
I would guarantee you that he is the pound for pound champion or the best in the UFC.
Albert, pound for pound best?
Yeah, I think he's the pound for pound best. People forget when this guy has fought Dominic Cruz, and I thought he won that fight. Looking back, I really do think he really won that fight. I really do think he's the pound for pound. I think we're finally going to see a super fight as long as Dana White's not scared to open up that bank account.
Exactly. I know Henry Barao and TJ Dillashaw are set to meet in July, so hopefully it kind of lines up perfectly. Maybe Mighty Mouse. He just had a kid before this card, so maybe goes on a little vacation, right? Every new father needs a vacation, right?
Trust me, they do.
So after the win, kind of relax, and maybe like a late fall super fight would be kind of great. So, but is it? I mean, he debuted. He's the only flyweight champion the UFC has ever known. Has his dominance been bad for this division?
A little bit, because it kind of shadows some of the other guys. For example, Ian McCall. I mean, he could have been a superstar in that division, but because Mighty Mouse was so dominant, we never saw that from Ian McCall. I mean, he's kind of pushed down in the rankings because he can't get. Well, he had those fights with Mighty Mouse, and
they were close, but
they were close, but you never saw that push behind the UFC because he was never the champ.
I think coming into remember that small little tournament for the title, I think Ian McCall was ranked number 1. Yeah, and then there was that rumor. Remember that this whole division was created for Joseph Benavidez at Alpha Male, right? Albert?
Yeah.
So and then he got squashed.
I think everybody thought Joseph Benavidez was gonna drop down weight and win. I mean, because at the time, technically, he was the only guy that beat Dominic Cruz convincingly. At least I thought he did. The judges thought otherwise. But to tell you the truth, this is all on the UFC and Dana White, the reason why the flyweights are where they're at in this purgatory stage. Because I've always said it from the very beginning since this division was made, they're putting these guys in the prelims and in the Facebook fights, and I don't think fans were able to even really get behind it.
Not just a champion, but the other guys. Yeah.
And so there's
the 2 through 15.
You never established this.
Tell me without looking at a list. Tell me the top 10 in the flyweight division.
Exactly.
I don't even know, dude. Benavidez, John Johnson, Ian McCall.
Exactly. The ones in the tournament.
They didn't even get to establish any stars at all, and I think that was their fault. And they really should have put some, sprinkle them in there. Maybe higher up in the card. Yeah. Put at least one fight in the opening of the pay-per-view. Everybody knows the flyweights always entertain, so why not just, it's like the cruiserweights of the WCW.
Exactly, the backbone of the company.
You want to get the crowd hyped up, you throw the cruiserweights in there, and then you give them the big show.
And then you get a shooting star press.
Yeah, exactly. So also on the card, Michael Bisping defeated Steve Holloway in kind of a back-and-forth exciting matchup. People don't really get excited about Michael Bisping.
But you just say Michael Bisping and exciting in the same
exactly. Yeah. These guys did throw down, so Michael did win by a unanimous decision. Also, Rampage Jackson kind of slugged it out with Fabio Maldonado and just a big heaping slow motion fight at the end, just keeping in the pocket, exchanging back here and forth. I mean, the biggest news of that fight was that Rampage actually threw a head kick that missed. Yeah. But I was like, Rampage throws a head kick? What? And it even made the highlights on the post-fight show. So that was pretty much the pay-per-view in a whole. But so Mighty Mouse was his 6th successful title defense, 8 wins in a row in the UFC. So is he now the most dominant champion in the UFC right now?
That's tough to say because doesn't John Bon Jones have the record?
Maybe. Okay, so let's play a little game here now. You guys want to rank 1 through 10 your current champions right now?
Sure. Let me turn over the list.
I'll go first.
I didn't want you to look.
I'll go first, okay? So obviously number 10, I have Cain Velasquez.
What?
Just because he hasn't fought in like 3 years.
Year and a half.
Number 9, Robbie Lawler, welterweight champion. Just because you got to do more than convince me that you're dominant champion than beating Matt Brown and then Johnny Hendricks again. You know what I mean? Those kind of fights were kind of close. You got to do more than champion for me. It's because he's not a long-term champion. Number 8, Rafael Dos Anjos. Again, he dominated Showtime Pets, but then you got to kind of defend it right now. So it's not to his detriment that he's the new champion right now. Number 7, Joanna Jay. Probably the best female striker in the UFC right now, probably, right? You guys agree? And of course, she's a bomb list because she just won her title. So here we go, get the meat and bones. Number 6, Chris Weidman. You beat Anderson Silva twice. You take Machida to the limit. Now I want to get in the meat and bones. No. I want to get in the meat and bones of your division now.
I can tell this.
I want to get in your meat and bones of your defense now. Now to Vitor Belfort, I want to see you get Luke Rockhold, the Jacques Reyes. Now he's gonna get now 6 months from now he'll probably be the number 1 champion if he successfully defends against everybody. I have number 5, TJ Dillashaw, just because you don't knock out Hannah Barral and you don't beat at least in the top 5. Number 4, Jose Aldo. The reason I have him number 4 is because he's been defending his title, but I want the exciting Jose Aldo, knockout Jose Aldo. Number 3, John Jones, just because he's been pressed to the limit more than any other champion, and that's probably a testament to the depthness of the division he's in. Number 2, Demetrious Johnson, because pound for pound, probably one of the best. And number 1, Ronda Rousey, because she's never ever been in trouble at all. So that's my top 10. Who wants to go first? You guys.
I'll go because I know he's gonna have a lot of stuff to say on mine. So number 10, I got the way I did it is 1, activeness, and then second is how long are they in their title reign? So Joanna's number 10. She just won it. Number 9, Dos Anjos just won it. I want to see more. Lawler, he just won it. He's only had 1 title defense since winning it from Johnny Hendricks. So I have those 3. Then I have TJ Dillashaw. He just won it from Hannah Barral. Yeah. So those are my explanation. Chris Weidman, even though he already had a couple, title defenses, he's still recent to be.
You want to see him against?
I want to see more. Yeah. Then I get into a little bit more. I got Ronda Rousey. I know she's dominant, but if I'm ranking each division, their own, I know she's very dominant, but I think these guys are like pound for pound the best in the world. They're above her.
So just a division that too deep for you, saying, right?
Cain Velasquez, that guy hasn't lost. Come on.
he hasn't fought either. He has an opportunity to lose.
But he beat a man bear pig in Brock Lesnar that no one can defeat.
That was like 6 years ago. I'm a Cain Velasquez fan too, but come on.
So I have him about biased. Hey, biased, I would have had him number 1. So I have him number 4. Until you beat the champion, he'd still be on the list. Then right here you can mix and match because I think Jose Aldo and Demertious Johnson are kind of in the same field where they're like really high up there with 7 or 8 title defenses or long fight win streaks. So you can interchange those two. But I have Jose Aldo, and then I have Demertious Johnson, and I have John Bone Jones. How can he has one of the longest title reigns of all time. Yeah. And even though he gets pushed to the limit, he's won. Yeah. So no matter, it doesn't matter at the end of the day how much you get pushed, as long as you come with the W, and he's come with the W. So that's my pound for pound.
Albert, you're rebuttal to our list.
Champion list, not pound for pound.
This is how I did mine. It's by how exciting you are, how marketable you are.
Okay.
All right. Those were my 2 key things.
This is Albert's all in his mind, his credentials. We didn't mention this at all before the show. Marketability.
So number 10, I'm gonna put John Jones. I saw this. The guy's not marketable, and the guy's not exciting.
Yeah, he has a Reebok commercial.
So he's number 10. Number 9 is Robbie Lawler because we haven't really seen Robbie Lawler, so you can't market something you haven't seen, right?
2002 Robbie Lawler.
Number 8 is Chris Weidman. I seen paint dry more exciting than him. I'm not talking about his interviews. I'm talking about his interviews. Yeah. Man, the guy's over there trying to talk smack, and I'm like, really, bro? Like that's
you think maybe from like the New York, New Jersey area, he'd be good at smack talk, but
I mean, even his boy Matt Serra has more character. Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe Matt Serra should be his manager, speak for him all the time.
Yeah. And 7, Rafael Dos Llanos. Oh, and the only reason I put him this high is because he's learning English, and I respect that, and that's a very marketable thing if you're a Brazilian champion. Then I got Joanne, because come on, she was a market machine, and just for her, it wasn't even her having the title, it's just her being challenged for the title, and I could just imagine now that she's the champion. Yep. So I see right there. Number 5, I put Jose Aldo. Just his fights alone, I think it's marketable, and I don't think he necessarily is good on the camera, but at least his fights are marketable. Ronda Rousey, I mean, she's a marketing machine. I put it just a number.
She should be number 1 then.
Yeah.
And then I put TJ Dillashaw, and then you guys are gonna be surprised. You're gonna be like, Dillashaw's not really that. You be surprised, man. A lot of Brazilians hate this guy. So right, maybe in the United States you might not feel the heat.
You're talking about international box office now?
See,
okay.
You might not feel the heat here
international
in the States,
box office.
But take them to Canada, to Brazil, there's a lot of hate there. And when you got that type of heat, you got to keep a guy up there. So that's why I put TJ. Number 2, I put Mighty Mouse, and I'll tell you why. Because you over here talking about Reebok and all this. Yeah. He has Xbox, son.
That's all he needs.
How marketable can you be? You have literally one of the giants of all.
Isn't he going to lose that, though, once the Reebok deal comes in?
I'd be mad if I were him.
No, Xbox can throw a lot more money than Reebok. I'll tell you that right now.
Exactly.
And then finally Cain Velasquez.
Where's Steve Ballmer at, right?
And Cain Velasquez is number 1. I mean, the guy, you can put him in a tortilla thing. And is
that slightly offensive coming from another Mexican or no?
Tell me that.
I know we're all Mexican, but like you said,
tell me that wouldn't sell out. I see this guy. I see this guy the next.
You say that in a press conference.
I see that guy, the face of Tecate. They need to put him because he has character, right? So you know what? Cain's my number 1 choice.
Wow. Cain Velasquez. Never mind. I don't even know how to continue with that one. We'll continue with the next segment coming up. We'll play Mr. Matchmaker.
That's how we'll
Cain Velasquez in a tortilla. Thanks for sticking around. Before we continue the show, I want to thank our fine line of sponsors let's do it again. Right.
All right, from the top, let's go.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back. Thanks for sticking around. Before we continue, I want to thank our fine line of sponsors. First with the FRMMA Foundation, Redemption Martial Arts. Join the movement to start bullying. Follow them on Twitter at redemption_MA. 5 Rounds Clothing Line, makers of 5 fine quality apparel, shirts. We're not wearing today because it's kind of cold in Southern California, so we're wearing sweaters. And also Rock and Green eco-friendly cleaning products. Now, before we continue to play Mr. Matchmaker, I want to touch on a subject that we had last segment. Is about the I guess not the dismantling, but the beating UFC 186 took in the lineup cards, right? And I remember because people say, oh, I think the card itself, the attendance was horrible. Like they even said they had to close some of it off. Rumors, reports of people leaving during the main event. Dana White getting mad, yeah. And then the first thing Dana White said at the press conference, they all told the fighters, "Oh, this is a great fight." Whenever people say the card is going to be horrible, the card ends up being great. Which I guess the card was okay, but just like not enough names to make people interest. So after the UFC took all these hits and the Rampage off again, on again, off again, should the UFC maybe lowered the pay-per-view price or even maybe offered it to free TV? Because remember Bellator did this for their pay-per-view. After it got dismantled, they just say, you know, it's on Spike. And actually didn't have a big rating to score because of that. So, yeah. I mean, thoughts on this? It's kind of something maybe, I don't know. Is the UFC just saying, hey, we're the UFC, we do whatever we want. Pay, don't pay, I don't care. But is that like smart business practice? I mean, I'm just kind of, you know.
I think you gotta think about it this way: is like, had he done that, how much disrespect people would have given like Dana White for, you know, hey, there goes Mighty Mouse again. Yeah. You go from, you know, headlining a pay-per-view and then giving him free on TV, and that's has been the biggest criticism of where he books Mighty Mouse. So I you know, it's kind of difficult. And
technically he was he was the co-main event in the beginning. Yeah, so he wasn't even the main event in this pay-per-view to begin with.
Yeah, I totally agree. The other thing is, if you're gonna do a pay-per-view fight, to make it worth our money, is they have to mean something. What did the CB Dollaway versus Michael Bisping really? What would the winner get out of it?
Right,
yeah. What are the implications? What are the implications with Rampage versus Maldonado? Really, what are the implications? The only implication was the championship match.
Yeah.
So I mean, in terms of reduced rate, I would have done it. I would have paid for the pay-per-view myself had it been
like
reduced.
$45 or something like that,
maybe 30.
Yeah. $30. 29 or $9.99 maybe.
There you go.
Yeah, I really think UFC did this more because they didn't want to get off their high horse. I think when it comes to this, and this is no shot at Mighty Mouse. I mean, I'm perfectly fine with Mighty Mouse headlining anything, pay-per-view.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I totally agree with
that. That's something. The issue to me is that the card flip-flops so much that when it gets to that point, it's not the audience's fault. So why should we try to justify something when the Bellator was straight up though? Look, listen, we couldn't get our stuff together, so we're just gonna give it out for free because we still want to have this card. We still have some good fighters, so let's just make it free. And I think that was a reasonable thing for UFC to do. Look, listen, this thing just jumbled everywhere. Even back when John Jones didn't want to defend his title against Chael Sonnen, and then just dismantle that pay-per-view. They should just give it out for free. I mean, people want to see fights, yeah, but sometimes some fights are worth paying, and sometimes some fights are just worth watching.
Yeah.
And I really do think they should just offer it free. The other thing I wanted to say, too, was even the way the lineup was, you should have known, because with Rampage coming back, I don't think it's co-main event. I think that's like the beginning. Yeah. I think that's the opener for pay-per-view. Like, if you really want to make a pay-per-view out of it, I thought that was more of the opener.
I thought that was kind of a shot at Michael Bisping because I mean, it wasn't his fault that Rampage had legal trouble, so that was bumped to the co-main event. Now it got bumped down to the, you know, it's kind of like just keep it.
Well, the other thing is, had Rampage not fought in this pay-per-view, how much worse would it, like, in terms of names? In terms of names. In terms of names,
I mean, I think
for the just the casual fan,
you would have had Patrick Cote against Joe Riggs as the opener, right? Because wasn't that the prelim headliner? So that would have bumped up the opener, right? I mean, Joe Riggs in a pay-per-view is no disrespect, but this isn't 2002 anymore, guys.
Yeah, I know. So that's my point. Is like since the beginning, this card was a mess already to begin with. That's what I'm saying. You had the fights last weekend. Really close to another, you could have just blended them in and had a way better pay-per-view card.
I think this is the case we always talk about, but maybe it's the UFC. You know what? With the UFC, we do whatever we want. We're going to charge $50 and you're going to pay for it or not. So let's move on to play one of the games I like to play called Mr. Matchmaker. This is when we like to play Mr. Joe Silva here, Mr. Matchmaker extraordinaire of the UFC. So I'm going to run off a few recent big-time matchups. Actually, one of them is even from the UFC. I should say Mr. Joe Silva. One of them is for World Series of Fighting. So I'm you guys opinion whether you like the fight, don't like it, hate it, don't care, whatever you want. Okay. So first one, Soa the Hulk Palele against Antonio Bigfoot Silva at UFC 190 in August. Gamble, do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you not care?
I like it. I like it because Soa Palele needs a big fight like this. I mean, we've always seen him like fight the lower ranked heavyweights. I think with the win over Bigfoot Silva, not only gets rid of Bigfoot Silva from the UFC, it's possible.
Makes him extinct.
But it also propels Soa Palele, the Hulk. We've seen him exciting finishes from him, so I think it's time for him to at least get a run at that UFC title.
Former guest on the show, Soa Palele, by the way, too. That's a little plug for us. Albert, do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you not care?
Actually, I do love it because look, I think the Bigfoot Silva train has left, and they're just pretty much.
Was there a train? It was more like a caboose,
right?
For
the championship.
I mean, as far as having a value,
he beat Alistair Overeem.
Yeah, as far as, and I'm pretty sure for the pay they give him and the value he's worth. They're just trying to get the last bit of them.
Yeah, well, this card is in Brazil too, by the way.
And it's a good name for yourself, a big name for yourself.
I really do think they're trying to get 2-3 more fights out of him, but more that have to do with highlighting the person that he's facing.
Yeah.
So I think this is more a highlight of the Hawk than it is a Bigfoot Silva being in it. And again, I just think they're trying to get their value completely done before he moves on, and he probably ends up in Bellator.
Yeah, yeah. This whole card, UFC 190, it's in Brazil. It is headlined by Benj Correia and Ronda Rousey, but also it's kind of a Team Nogueira almost farewell because both the Nogueira brothers are fighting, and Antonio Bigfoot Silva has the Nogueira tattoo, so maybe it could be the swan song for the Team Nogueira or whatever it's called. So second one. Raging Al Iaquinta, everybody's favorite New Jersey fighter.
Albert,
going to go against Bobby Green, UFC Fight Night in San Diego. Do you love it? Do you hate it, Albert?
I love it because I haven't seen Bobby Green in a while. I think Bobby Green did have that momentum going, and it kind of slowed down now. And I think people already forgot exactly the accomplishments he has done. And I think he's the type of guy that if Al Iaquinta wants to mouth off, he'll mouth off right back. And everybody knows what happens when, once again, a little argument. It hypes up the fight. So I actually love this match. Joe Silva's actually been pretty much doing a good job with the first two right here, I think.
So, and Bobby Green is known for his trash talk during the fight, right? So it should be kind of interesting to see.
Yeah, he's not a quiet one. And
you're talking trash to me?
Yeah,
you're talking trash to me?
He actually eggs people on. But the main thing, I like it because of the implications. You have good implications in here. I mean, Al Iaquinta's on a run right now. Bobby Green was on a run, but this will give... if he was able to slow down Iaquinta, it actually propels Bobby Green back into that conversation of back to where he was
at least the top 5.
Yeah, Bobby Green was on an 8-fight win streak, was capped off by a win over Josh Thompson. Remember that one?
Yes, I remember.
But his last loss was a decision loss to Edson Barboza. So, like you said, I mean, 8-1 in the last 9 is pretty good. So hopefully this has, like you said, does have implications and raging. I'm hoping Al Iaquinta curses out the crowd again because I'm looking for that now on the post-fight promo. Third one, Benson Smooth Henderson versus Michael Johnson, the Tough 21 finale. Love it, hate it, Guillermo? What do you say?
Oh man, I like it. I mean, I'm a little excited, but wasn't Michael Johnson calling out someone else?
I think it was Benson Henderson.
It was
I don't know. I think Michael Johnson just calls out everybody.
Calls out everybody.
155. But I like it because I want to see Smooth Henderson get back into the high. I never thought he fell off from the top 2.
Yeah.
In any whether it's welterweight or lightweight. So I think it's good for him to keep that momentum going.
Albert, do you love it? Do you hate it?
I don't love it, but I don't hate it, but I do care.
Okay.
So I'm not sure where I'm at.
I guess that's where I was at too. I care
because I want to see Benson Henderson fight. Nothing against Michael Johnson, but the fight doesn't really excite me. I don't know why. I'm not sure why I can't really get a good, bite my teeth into it. But I'm
gonna blow your guys' mind right now. So just shot in the dark. What you think number Michael Johnson's ranked in the lightweight top 10?
Last time I saw, he wasn't even ranked. I think it was 11 or 12.
Okay, Albert, what do you think?
I would put him at 6 or 5.
6 or 5? We're on the dot. He was ranked number 5 right now.
How? If he's been...
I guess he's ranked number 6. Benson Henderson.
Wow.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Ranked number 6 in the life. Who does these rankings? So technically, it is number 5 against number 6. So I mean, I guess
Michael Johnson.
Technically, Benson Henderson never lost to Cowboy Cerrone.
Yeah.
Technically, and then he only lost to Anthony Pettis. So what the heck is?
Well, Johnson is on a 4-fight win streak. Joe Lozon, Gleason Tebow, Melvin Gillard, and Edson Barboza. So,
and all these guys are way down the rankings.
So we'll see. I mean, it could have some implications later on. Maybe a big notch in the belt for Michael Johnson. Also, Husmar Payars versus Jake Shields, World Series of Fighting 22. Love it, hate it, don't care. Albert.
I'm gonna have to say I don't care. Dude. I want to care. I really do. I really want to care, but I just don't. I mean,
this is the Jake Shields, right?
Yeah,
it's the Jake Shields factor for Albert.
That's what I'm telling you. I'm not gonna get pumped because it's gonna be. I really don't think it's gonna be that exciting of a fight.
Oh, it could be short because Husmar. I mean, he'll look ankle lock in the 2 seconds.
Don't get me wrong. I want to care.
It's funny. I've agreed every single match thing with Albert. I don't care. I follow Jake Shields on his
big time matchup for the World Series of Fighting.
Well, I know. I follow Jake Shields on Instagram, and he was already smack talking. So
Ray Sefo said this match is so big it hasn't happened in Vegas. That's just so you guys know.
Yeah, but I mean, it's hard to get excited for a Jake Shields fan. Jake Shields fight to begin with. I do want to see what's his name, Palhares. Palhares, I think he is very dangerous in jiu-jitsu, so I do want to see that. But I mean, am I excited
if
for the matchup?
this was a Metamoris' match, I might be a little bit
the
more
jiu-jitsu straight grappling match. All right, last one. This kind of tells where Eric Silva's at in his UFC career. He's going to go up against Rick Story at the Tough Brazil finale. So do you love it? Do you not care that your boy Eric Silva is now reduced to fighting on the Tough finales?
Ever since he lost to Matt Brown, I don't care about who he fights, where he fights, when he fights.
This is the guy who was getting an Eric Silva haircut.
I'm like in the fence. I'm like in the middle. I mean, I like it because he already bashed Eric Silva. He's off that train. But I mean, a win over Rick Story. Rick Story is no joke. So
Rick Story's in his own losing streak too.
I agree, but Rick Story was this shining rising star, and then until he got derailed himself. So I mean, I think it's two young guys.
Well, not so young anymore.
Not so young anymore, but still. There's still promise. There's still time for them to rise up the ranks.
It is a tough finale fight, isn't it? All right, that is it for today's show. I want to thank my fine co-hosts for giving all the energy today, and thank all you for listening, tuning in, chiming in, following us. If you want to keep up with us, make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at FiveRoundMMA. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to us on iTunes, YouTube, Podomatic. Check out FiveRoundMMA.com. That's F-I-V-E, not the number 5, F-I-V-E, guys. And thanks, everybody. Thanks for all our sponsors. Albert, what do you got?
I just want to thank producer Guillermo Cita. I'd like to thank everybody for listening. Hopefully, the next pay-per-view has Byron Danielson because I don't think it's going to be an Extreme Rules.
Are you talking about WWE now?
WWE.
Okay,
of course.
This was an MMA show.
Check out Spike and Vita.
I think you forget that. Oh, yeah, the cream of the crop.
Time to get grimy.